You guys are, my dad's so lucky to have
If I had $1 every time Dylan or Taylor said, well, at Bob's office, they do it this way. Okay.
Oh, when
I'd
he got in
retire.
trouble for not doing the settlement expense sheet, he said, well, because at Bob's, it's a much better system.
That's all automated. It's just there. Welcome to this episode of Bourbon of Proof, where we share a lot of spirits with those who have been successful in law and life. And today we are absolutely honored to have the Dordick legacy, the Dordick family, on today. No longer living in the shadow of their father. First of all, raise your hand in this room if you've had a $1 billion verdict. Oh, shit. No, you haven't. Get out of here.
Not against.
Not against. Not a judgment. Not a judgment. So we're going to break this off with, this is the new Riff, and you guys are the new Riff that's coming out. So this is a new hot distillery in Louisville. This is the straight rye. This is another one, bottle and bond. So Mara, could you do the honors?
No, Bob, this is a little unfamiliar, but I'm sitting in your chair on this episode. Usually this is.
Well, Mara, you have literally known the Dordicks for how long?
They were kids. Probably Dylan was probably 8 or something. I remember I went to their house when they lived in Topanga. Dylan had the craziest mural in his bedroom, like a guy surfing. Remember, right, Dylan? Sure. Remember that? That was like, how old were you then? 8, 9?
Mara needs to have a drink before the hand steadies enough.
Yep. Yeah, so I've known them that long.
Michelle
And,
is obviously with child, so she'll not be able to drink. You can stare at it.
I can smell it.
Yeah.
Barbarino.
Thank you, sir.
So,
That's too free.
so this is, we'll do initial cheers to the new Riff, the Dordick legacy, and the progeny that Michelle will be carrying, the first Dordick grandchild, right?
Mm-hmm.
Baby Berkowitz.
Known. We'll talk about Dylan's time in Vietnam very shortly. This is fantastic.
Fantastic.
Especially for a young whiskey, it's beautiful.
And why you call this a young whiskey?
What, 4 years? Probably.
Probably.
Maybe 5 at most.
Let's see. Is it no stated age?
It's got a distilled.
Oh, at least 4 years it says. So
2018, I think the neck tag
You
said.
can leave it up there. This is good. All right, so we're going to kick this off with, first of all, there's 5.
There's 5.
And what's the pecking order? Tell everybody what the pecking order is here. Age-wise, not.
Oh, you had to clarify. I was going to start with myself.
I'm the oldest. And then Dylan.
And then me, and then Waverly, and then Kyle.
So the 2 babies are not yet lawyers.
But we're all about more or less 2 years apart, so pretty close.
Wow. So, I think the biggest thing is we always worry, we're lawyers, we were having kids, our parents weren't lawyers. You guys have probably the most famous trial lawyer dad ever, and your mom's going to be a lawyer soon, right? I mean, she just passed or out of law school.
graduated from law school.
Which is an amazing story. We'll have your mom and dad on, but what is it like growing up and then now being in the profession? Like, why did you decide to do it as well? I mean, Michelle, we'll start with you because you didn't start at the Dordick Law Group. You had a different path. But how did you get there?
So unlike the rest of the lawyers in my family, I didn't want to go to law school. I just grew up in a house where everything was, be careful of this, don't stand too close to the sidewalk, a bus can hit you.
I do this every day.
That's how I'm.
Yeah, don't drive to Vegas because that center divider is super dangerous, everyone dies. There are all these reasons to die. So it was just it seemed really depressing.
I actually asked your dad one time, and I was like, how'd you get such good kids? Everybody's great. I was like, they all stayed safe. He's like, I used to show them trial exhibits of people maimed. Holy
Scared the
shit.
shit out of
You really
us.
did that?
Yeah.
Let's just put it this way. When you have a blow up of 10 feet, you could choose to put it facing the wall, or you could choose to put it in your living room facing the us.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, everything was a cautionary tale. So I was like, well, that doesn't sound like something I want to do forever. And then and then the other side of it too is our parents very slyly sort of also manipulated me, I think, into going. They were like, sure, do whatever you want. you don't have to go to law school. And then I'd come home like,
But we'll cut you off.
yeah, like I think I want to be an interior designer. And he's like, there's no money in that. That's such a hard field to get into. It's so saturated. And anytime I came home with some other idea, he'd tell me why it was a terrible idea. So I was like, fine, whatever. I'll just try law school, see if I like it. And then I was like, I'll take the LSAT.
Because you were a dance major.
I was a dance major, and then
And I know this because your mom used to get money out of me, and I donate to your dance team. And I have a T-shirt still with your name on the back in my house someplace that has your name and all the other girls from the dance team that I donated like $1,000.
They weren't expecting you
was
to
a
have kids,
shitty
and now
most
it comes back to we're gonna have to.
I was wondering why he was wearing this T-shirt 2 sizes too small with a bunch of girls' names.
That wasn't working.
Nava was good, but I was, and Nava still says to this day, you were the only one who ever donated to the dance team. I was like, man, I was the only idiot. But I used to
she's
donate
just trying to
the
make you
dance
feel
team.
better.
You know, it's funny. We all kind of came into the profession in ways that our personalities dictate beautifully. And you know, the story goes, or at least the way that my dad's told it, and sort of become the truth the more you tell it, right? The truth is just what everybody agrees is the truth, right?
Lives are only wishes.
Yeah. He says that early on, he tried to force me to do karate. My dad's a black belt, right? 3 different types. And he would send us all to karate. He really wanted us to get into it. And the more he wanted us to do it, the more we didn't want to do it. And
Did any of you do martial arts?
Kyle.
Wrong one to look at.
Briefly,
For sure.
briefly. I ended up taking boxing later on when some kid in high school wanted to beat my ass. My dad said, nobody's kicking your ass but me, right? But so he learned as we got older that if you try to force your kids into something, they're going to rebel and push against it.
Wow.
And so as I got older, I wanted to be a professional brewer. I was making beer in the basement in high school because apparently you only
And that's
got to be
why. So
16.
Dylan's gonna play the. This is the last whiskey that Mara and I are gonna gift you guys today. You're it today, brother. So
My show.
powder's
Strange how
dry.
you know I
fill it
got
up.
my son Max into donuts, but he didn't fight me on it. He really took family tradition. You know, he jumped in with both feet.
Yeah, it's good to know. So who went to law school first?
They went together.
We did.
Oh.
They've been in the same exact school together
Since 6th grade.
Since 6th grade. They went to the same college together, and then law
you
school
went to
was the
Santa Barbara
first
too,
school they
right?
separated.
Wow. It's like me and my twin brother. But wait, so you guys, what was your major in Michelle? What was your major in college?
It was dance, and then it was psych.
Psych comes in
Psychology.
very handy actually in trials. And what you were a brewer.
Yeah, major not so important, but yeah, if I do something, I got to do it. Like there's no half, right? It's full. And so I wanted to make beer, making it at home. You don't have to be 21 to buy the ingredients, just to use them, right? Okay, I gotcha. And so I was working night shifts at a brewery in Santa Barbara for 2 years. And then when I graduated, you know, you got to make a choice. So I applied to a bunch of breweries. Nobody wanted to hire me. And so I was like, all right, I guess it's law school. I take the LSAT, I do well. And right after I pass, I get a call from one of the breweries saying, all right, you know, we'll hire you. I was like, you know, a little late at that
Too
point,
late?
right?
Wow.
So then I jumped all in, full in.
And then 2 years later, you started Taylor?
Yeah, I think I was the only one who came out of the womb like, I'm a lawyer. I knew from day one I wanted to be a lawyer. My mom was like, it's so bizarre. You came out of the womb like not crying, just pure evil, like bossing everyone around, sassy, stank face since day one, like telling everyone what to do, not listening to anyone, arguing with my dad, arguing with anyone who would argue with me my entire life. I don't know how much
Yeah, I
has
mean,
changed.
having known you guys since you were all kids, you definitely have the more aggressive personality. I mean, to say the least.
It's a nice way to put it.
The nice way to put it. Yeah, you definitely have the.
Yeah, my dad's always like,
different personality.
you're gonna be a bad lawyer because you don't know how to listen. And I'm like, you don't know how to listen. So you're a bad lawyer.
They were screaming at each other during their last trial.
Really?
And I'm telling Taylor, just say yes, and then whispering, and do it differently, but at least tell the guy, yeah.
No, we were preparing for he's let me cross one of the experts. And so I ran an outline by him, and he's just losing his mind about it. And
So what's that like, Taylor, because you just recently finished a trial with your dad, to try a case with your dad, I've tried a case with your dad. Your dad does things his way and his way only.
Oh, yeah.
It's difficult. I mean, I can only imagine, and I'm not related to your dad.
Every weekend when I would go over there and work on the case with him, I stormed out saying, "This is my second and last trial with you. This is my first and last trial with you," and leave the house. So who knows how many more there are to come with him. He definitely, he's difficult to work with. It's not just, he's hard on his kids. He's hard on people he works with. He expects the best. He does the best, and he wants that product, and it's tough. But when I was sitting next to him in trial and watching him in action, I really, really felt like I was in a movie scene. I'm like looking around like, are people seeing what I'm seeing? Is everyone experiencing that? It was straight out of my cousin Vinny. I was in shock every day. I was like, I'm living in an alternate universe watching his cross exams. Like not only because he's my dad, I genuinely felt like everyone in here has to be like, this is fucking insane. I'm like, there's no way the judge can keep a straight face. He really,
But
really
do you feel
blows
that
my
pressure?
mind.
I mean, because I not only tried cases with your dad, I've watched them, and for whenever you have that, it's hard to emulate that type of talent. Do you guys ever feel? I mean, Michelle, you've done trials with your dad. You work at the firm. Do you ever feel like I'm never going to be able to live up to where this is? And how do you deal with it?
Yes, especially the cross exams. I don't know why they get me every time.
Mostly because Dylan reminds us that every day.
Yeah, and because Dylan
never-
does sound exactly like him and acts like him and says the same things as him. So I'm like, what the hell? I'm never going to be that. But I do feel like he respects everyone's, what's the word? Like everyone's
Style.
own style, and does kind of let you have your own style and encourages that. And also going to all these like trialer talks and hearing everyone else the way they do it, you can see that there are so many different ways to be successful at it, and so many different styles that still work. And I'm not good at pretending to be somebody else, so I try to take the things that he does that I can copy and all the tips that he does say and try to make it my own. And he's usually okay with it.
So whenever you guys, so over the years, obviously it's been huge verdicts and results. It means huge financial compensation. Your families work on a contingency fee. So we know there's been a lot of wealth that's been accumulated. Dylan, how do you stay hungry? I mean, honestly, you could have done nothing had your dad, you guys are probably set for life if you wanted to be. But how do you guys stay hungry growing up in Beverly Hills?
It's funny you say that. I never understood my childhood more than when my job was contingency based. Like one day we're getting a new car, moving to a new house. The next we're selling a couple cars, moving to a new house. The next bigger house. I mean, it's just the ebbs and flows. But it's interesting. The Bernie Arnault or whatever, the owner of Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy, one of the wealthiest men in the world, had 5 kids, and he from an early age would teach his kids math and would drill them in all these things and put them working underneath his closest advisors and confidants, knowing that one day they would have to be in charge of the world's largest company. And if they weren't prepared, then his legacy would be sold off into pieces like a couple of his friends did. And I don't want to say that my dad had that level of calculatedness, but there was some level of understanding that he had to make sure we had that hunger, had to make sure we had those skills that we needed. So if we did make that choice one day, we would be prepared. And speaking of pressure, the pressure to live up to him is something that's so unrealistic. I don't think many of us actually feel it because it's just not, that's never going to happen, right? We can be great, but we can't be him. And the pressure that he's put on us that really, it's universal, and I think all of us feel it, is that your clients are dependent on you, and they've got nobody else. And all it takes is losing one trial or, getting the case tossed on summary judgment before the reality of that pressure sets in. I mean, the first case I tried at your office, Bob, didn't go so hot, but it's not a great case.
You did well.
First trial. But the client didn't have a car. And so I had to drive him home after the verdict came back. And sitting in the car with him, driving him home, that pressure is not something you'll ever forget. And so I think he knew that the pressure couldn't come from being him. It had to come from the gravity of the work that we do.
And Taylor, we'll ask you the same question. Wow, that might... You guys are drinking too slow.
Well, actually, you know what?
Dylan,
Before we
fire it up.
segue from this, Taylor, I don't mean to put you on the spot or anything, but can you tell us the feelings that came over you when you tried that case with me?
It was watching greatness. I don't know. I left that out
tried
before.
a case together?
I felt like I was watching my cousin Vinny Morrow.
I was thinking more
Morrow?
like Clarence Darrow or like, something.
Whatever you want to be.
Well, I mean, give us a little bit. I don't want to toot my own horn. Just give us a little bit.
I worked with my dad to help me. Morrow is so kind. Morrow let me do so much in that case. He let me do the opening, mini opening, direct, everything he let me do. I, worked with my dad on an outline, and then I'd show it to Morrow to be like,
I
do
figured
you
I was
approve
getting,
of this?
Gary, for free in the background.
Morrow stood up and stole my opening, stole my direct. Morrow
She was
took,
telling me, oh, this is what I'm doing. I say, that's so good. Okay.
and then he did it in mini opening, and then I was gonna go up in my opening, and he had just said it in mini opening. I was like, God fucking damn it.
But that was we
You're a real dick.
We got a good verdict.
Yeah.
We got a nice verdict.
We did.
They
That
offered
was a
shit on
really
the
good
case.
time.
They offered like $25,000 in the case. I think we got $350,000 or
I
something.
took the direct exam of my brother-in-law, once in a lifetime experience.
Yes, Dr.
Wow. So Michelle's husband is a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
We all went to the wedding in Italy, which was fucking awesome.
I forgot we had Dr. Berkowitz on that case. Yeah, I mean, it was a.
Mara and I
it's a very
drove
simple
there,
case.
and he fell asleep the entire. You're supposed to be my co-pilot for 6 hours. He slept in the fuck.
We drove-
He was drinking. He fell asleep mid espresso. He'd have one in his hand, just fall asleep.
We drove there from San Tropez to Florence.
Tuscany.
Or
Yeah,
that's a long
Florence,
drive,
Florence.
man. You know what I mean? So of course.
Who drove? Not you.
Bob was driving. He didn't want me to drive. I'm notorious for my driving.
'Cause you fall
Gary
asleep.
says that when he drives with me, he wants to put a bag over his head because he's a bad backseat driver, and then I'm a bad driver. So it's like he's like grabbing the wheel like every 2 seconds.
Yeah, don't feel bad. You're not
on that
alone.
trip when we were for your wedding, we had a couple French nannies and some people that were watching the kids while we went to the wedding. And Morrow, we went somewhere and we had a few drinks for lunch and we drove back and we got back and the nanny looked mortified. I was like, what happened? She's like, it's Morrow, he fell asleep in the car. she did. I filmed it. I was laughing so hard. She was like, he was just like, "Arr."
Oh my God.
Driving?
I was fine. I woke up before I hit anything.
Man.
And then the best part, I had a captive audience because we couldn't figure out how to work the radio in this like French rent-a-car. And then we were in the middle of nowhere, so the radio didn't work. But the only thing we could figure out how to work was the Bluetooth. And none of these people, they're all Spotifyers, so they don't have any music downloaded to their phone. But I had a whole bunch of my music on my phone. So Bob and my wife and his wife were forced to listen to my shit for hours. And
With
we were
your
like,
driving?
ready-
Him falling asleep.
Bob was ready to kill himself.
And you're
He literally
sleeping.
plays
Worst
suicide
fucking-
ballads. It's like
this is the
90s.
worst music ever. It's like
music's-
emo. It's like, like Dashboard.
I've heard your ringtones.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm playing like 90s emo shit, and these guys are like, Bob was ready to kill himself.
Yeah.
He was like, I'd rather listen to nothing.
Actually, I usually do listen to nothing. Yeah, so, I mean, Taylor, what's it like? Can you ever live up to that, who your dad is, or you just redefine, do something different?
Yeah, I think
What is this, by the way?
This is a Grand Royal Whiskey.
new?
In 2013,
better hustle up.
I managed to get into Myanmar to go visit Burma. And everywhere you go, you order a bottle, and they bring it
try
with
yours?
ice, and they bring it with soda water. And, I'm by myself in this country because nobody wanted to go with me, right? It's dangerous. And so I was just, sitting there all over the place drinking this whiskey, and I brought a bunch back, and it is fantastic. And
It's Grand Royal Whiskey.
yeah, it's made in Myanmar. And back then, Aung San Suu Kyi and her NLD party were pushing democracy, and they were getting close. And so this is now a highly illegal product, or at least one with
Well,
many export bans.
From someone who's like an early 90s, 80s guy like me, Grand Royal was the name of the Beastie Boys record label.
There you go.
Do you remember anyone remembers?
But smell that. It's got like a chalk. It's just like a light,
I like the new Riff
beautiful
better.
whiskey.
New Riff is awesome. That's
It's a lot smoother.
You can pick your favorite at the end.
This is very smooth.
I like that.
Really good.
All right, so
right?
go back. We got to answer. We
Yeah,
gotta,
this topic is riveting.
Back to me. I mean, to try to emulate him, I think is the wrong move. My dad tells me all the time specifically that he wants me to watch other women and females and find my own style. I really did learn a lot trying a case with you. I love watching you. I love watching a ton of different attorneys and taking a little bit of something from everyone and creating my own thing. And I really think the bottom line is that my dad always says is if you know your shit and you're the smartest one in the room, I mean, that's what's greatness, the work that you put in and knowing everything. So I try more to learn everything and know everything than I do to, emulate the things that anyone else does per se. But
He says you have to be the authority on truth and fact in the courtroom, right? When you say
gotta
it,
know
it's
it, you
truth
gotta
and fact. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing you'd be able to be the most prepared person, period. Your dad posts videos all the time working on the weekend, which I think more lawyers have to understand. They think it's sexy. I mean, you guys all trial all the time. Is it sexy?
No.
No.
I'm shocked to think sometimes my dad whoops out of his ass that he knows, like, well, Taylor, CCP. I mean, don't act like you remember any CCP code off the top of your head. And he really does. I mean, it's actually really wild. You just have to know your shit.
It becomes
That's what I
second
try to
nature,
do.
once you do it enough.
And Michelle, for you to be married to an orthopedic surgeon, I mean, do you feel so much better versed in orthopedic injuries because you're fighting for people that are catastrophically injured, or do you guys just table that at the dinner table?
I have a personal no talk to my husband about work policy. He doesn't have the same policy. But it's because I've learned that when I come home with questions, he just gets frustrated at the stupidity of the question. So I usually just Google it. Or if it's a really good question, then I bring it to him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I mean, you get free orthopedic advice from your husband. I mean, right?
I call him all the time for questions.
Uncle Morrow calls him all the time.
Uncle Morrow does call, and he does
For free
answer the phone.
questions.
For now, he's answering the phone for now. I mean, eventually maybe I'll get put on the ignore.
Do not
No, he always picks up.
Yeah, he does for me for sure. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Well, we'll see once they have a new baby in town. You might fall down the totem pole tomorrow.
Possible.
I hope so.
We'll see.
I don't take Morrow's call. That's
Bob considers someone who calls him an intrusion into his privacy. You should never call Bob, ever. You text him, and he will respond at his leisure. You know what I mean? But calling is out of bounds for Bob.
Well, calling is like reserved for an emergency. I need you
God.
right now.
See,
Because I'm a caller, and so I still know
call
Bob.
when it's convenient for you.
Yeah,
Do you guys give clients your cell phone number?
I do.
Only the really, really important ones I had to give the cell phone number to get the case.
Otherwise, and you give everyone your cell phone
It's on
number?
my business card, and it's on my website and everything. It's in my email signature. Listen, that's how I make a living, man. You want to call me up.
I had
Call me.
a client with a lot of felonies that my boyfriend was upset he had my cell phone number. I was like, he's not going to do any. He was a registered sex offender 20 years ago.
It's 20 years.
We're good.
20 years is a long time.
She doesn't look like a child at all.
So, Dylan, what is this you just poured everybody here?
This is Cream of Kentucky, which is Jim Rutledge, the former master distiller at Four Roses, retired. And, like
nice.
trial lawyer, no such thing as retired, just recovering. And so he opened up another distillery. And this is one of his ryes, which what I think is so interesting, right? Like, what's the difference between Pappy and Weller?
Same
much.
mash, just didn't name. Brand marketing.
The difference is Julian Van Winkle blessed the barrels and said these are, and his palate is what you're paying for, right? He has chosen these barrels as being special. And so it's similar to this, right? What's so special about Cream of Kentucky? Well, Jim Rutledge blessed the barrels and blended it, like a winemaker, right? It's only as good as the blender. So
I think I've been in that rick house where they aged the Pappy and the Weller for your bachelor party. I was there.
I got mostly pictures of all of us asleep. They start bourbon tours at 8 o'clock in the morning for some reason.
And
It's a great reason.
As a side note,
Twice.
I won $15,000 on a slot machine on that trip
On a riverboat
in
casino.
a riverboat casino in Louisville.
And he looks at me and says, "We've got to get out of here."
I said, I had the $15,000 in a paper bag. I said, I'm going to get out of here before someone I end up in the river.
Yeah, I feel like that's not the first time or the
No.
last time.
I met him when I
Vegas.
met him in Vegas. We first met him in Vegas at the Cali convention. He gave me his Phoenix fucking necklace because I had a Phoenix tattoo. We were talking about. He gave it to me. Then he goes out and plays the slots. Won 25 grand.
Rise of the Phoenix. I put $100 in it. And
I
I won
remember that.
$25,000.
$25,000.
And Gary and Nava walked by, and I was like, they were handing me over stacks of cash, and Gary's like, "What the hell's going on?" I was like,
My
"Shit,
parents were leaving for the airport. Mara hadn't gone to bed yet.
No, it was like 5 a.m. That's when the
Dang.
machines are ripe to hit. 5, 6 a.m.
We don't talk about how much you lost. We were in Monte Carlo last summer, and he was up real big. He comes over, he was up really big within 5 minutes. Like, wow, Mara, good for you. That's like go get a steak and a drink. Lost it all within.
Well, I came there to gamble.
Yeah, come on.
I came there to gamble. So, but I didn't really, I liked Monte Carlo. I liked the whole scene. It was cool. We went to the Grand Prix, real bougie shit. But the casino, I didn't dig it.
Nah,
I like Vegas.
I agree.
I like Vegas.
But speaking of gambling, I mean, you guys grew up in a gambling household, right? I mean, calculated gambling. Taylor, that's what it is. You guys grew up where your family had to win for you guys to eat.
Yeah, it's
what
ironic
was the
'cause
story? I want to hear stories growing up. Our audience wants to hear.
my
what were the
dad's an
struggles?
anti-gambler. He hates gambling.
He won't gamble a dollar.
Won't gamble nothing, not a
I've
penny.
told
He
you
doesn't
that
believe in
story.
it.
Yeah, so Gary does not like to gamble at all, like traditional gambling, like in Vegas or something. He won't gamble. I was playing video poker with him one time, and he had to bet 4 coins to get the progressive jackpot. So $1 was 4 quarters. He's like, why would I bet? Why would I bet 4 quarters when I can bet 1 quarter? I said, well, what if you hit a royal flush, and then you're not going to win the progressive? Oh, I ain't going to get a whole royal flush. As soon as it came out of his mouth, he hit the button, they dealt him a royal flush. As soon as it came out of his mouth. But he had, of course, bet 1 fucking quarter, and he got $1,000 instead of the $10,000. He was so happy that he won the $1,000 bucks. It's like if he won $1 million. I was depressed. I was like ready to kill myself. Because I'm a degenerate gambler. I was like, you bet 4 coins. Why would you even play? But to him, the 1 quarter to win 1,000, he thought he would.
So, but what were the lows? I mean, you guys were growing up in not a conventional gambling way, but essentially, literally, maybe mortgaging the house.
Yeah.
On winning cases. Did you guys ever feel that pain? Did you ever feel it as kids?
My parents were really good about, whatever happened in our family that was between the parents. They're really good about letting all 5 of us be kids and not be too involved in that. But they did obviously want to teach us a lot about the value of money. And I think what got more hard when we first really noticed is when my dad first got sick and couldn't work at all anymore and had to start scaling back on work. And that's when we moved. We sold our Sunset house. We moved into a condo. All of us went out to college. So they kind of, that's when they probably the most downscaled and really brought it more to our attention to be, better about things. But
when you say sick, your dad still has.
Yeah. When he was first diagnosed, we were in high school. I can't remember what grades we were all in, but most of us were going off to college. So Dylan and Michelle stayed local, but they still stayed at school, and I was also going out to school. So our parents were like, let's just sell the house. We have to stop working for the foreseeable future for now. Moved into like a 2-bedroom condo while all of us stayed at in dorms, and then we came home and stayed with my mom a bit, and kind of all just shuffled around. We didn't know how long he wouldn't be working for, and he couldn't try any cases at all. So,
well, that's not exactly true. There's one
No?
great story where he had an arbitration set, and I can't remember the
that's
justice,
good.
but it was a retired Supreme Court justice, I think, and he had an arbitration, and he was going through chemo, and he called and said, "Look, Your Honor, I'm really sorry, I'm going through chemo, and we can't go through with the arbitration." And the judge said that's no problem, but your $20,000 a day is non-refundable.
Oh.
And he said, "All right, I'll be there tomorrow." Arbitrated the case and won.
I think that was Armand Arabian.
Was it?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did it.
I remember that.
And the thing is, even to this day, right? Nothing's always going to go right. It's just the way it is. And wow, I guess I said life doesn't get easier. You just get more equipped to handle it, right? But I'll see. I mean, even recently, I'll see some pressures on that man that are unfathomable, and I didn't even know it was bothering him. And whether he does that to, I don't think he's doing it to insulate us. I have genuinely come to believe that this man just doesn't really. That he just he doesn't faze him, right? I mean, I joke. He jokes. How do you get a $42.5 million settlement? And, well, you say no to 40, right? And I mean, how do you do that? Right? How do you do that? And it's just that he trusts in himself, and that's why I hate the roll of the dice in gambling. No offense, I hate the thought that anybody compares it, because it's if it's gambling, then which side you're going to pick. You're going to pick my dad because it ain't, because there's a little more to it than just luck. I mean, certainly it plays a part, right?
Gambling bet on the house of Dordick, right?
Yeah, right.
But he's told us every day that he's spent our entire inheritance and don't expect a penny. He really likes to live his life to the fullest. I mean, that guy does everything. So I think there was also always a sense of, he's still concerned that if God forbid something happens to him tomorrow, people are sending our firm cases because they know my dad's trying them. They're not sending them to anyone else in his office. And he always tells us, what are you going to do when I'm not working or God forbid dead? You guys need to be incredible attorneys and bring in your own business and try your own cases. And I think through a lot of that experience of, I don't know, when the next tomorrow is. And obviously, first of all, I think the biggest lesson of that was if we lose the entirety of every penny that's ever been made, as long as he's healthy, there's nothing else anyone could care about. But the fact that, you can't really rely on anyone else to make your own living in your own life. So,
And I think that that fear of hunger, whatever, fear of failure, but that you can't teach hunger attitude. Our parents, obviously, I don't know who knows this or who doesn't, but they were raised with nothing and they're really self-starters. And we don't necessarily, I can't say that I came from the same background, but his fears of failure, he definitely voiced over and over. And I think that created almost like a different kind of hunger, because he says all the time, he says, what would you do if I wasn't here? What are you going to do? You need to start making your own connections and bringing in your own cases, because he's worried about he's worried that that we're going to have nothing and not succeed. And then that creates a fear in us that could, he's right. And I think growing up, it's always been like, you need to think about how you're going to live your life and what you're going to do to be successful, because this is not yours, this is mine, and you need to do this on your own. And I think that's kind of created this hunger in us.
They canceled Dylan's, they never really went easy on us. Dylan went to a dinner with some lawyers that he was going to pay for on the business card because my dad, get your own cases, put it on the work card, wine and dine, and they declined his American Express work card because Nava canceled it because he forgot to submit a reimbursement.
What would Big Bob do if I didn't submit my request?
She told me if my
Bob, my dad would send me
$6.99.
forward an email and say, what the fuck is their problem? And my dad's one finger tight.
Yeah, no, they don't mess
canceled it a long
around.
time ago.
I saw that little desk in the corner in Hermosa Beach.
Well, now he does it from home now, and he puts on headphones.
I just remember when he had that little desk and
Oh,
he'd
yeah.
be there typing away.
He loves it.
There's no fish in the office.
Oh, yeah. Somebody brought fish in the office, put in the microwave once. My dad in here lost his mind.
I would love to have that rule.
He would walk around with whiskey at 2:00. Why is no one else drinking?
Yeah, what's going on in here? You guys take us too seriously, but then he takes it the most seriously over anybody.
It's not that
By the way,
hard.
Potter's dry, bro. You were slacking, Dylan.
How about we... All right, so here.
Bartender.
How about we what?
So this is Four Roses 2020. They release 2 limited
Driving
editions
Mara
every
home.
year. And when Jim Rutledge retired, a young man by the name of Brent Elliott took over the distillery. And his background was essentially, he was a scientist, right?
Scientist.
And, this was sort of one of those times where it was a symbol of the change, right? That bourbon went from my grandfather taught me how to do it to a guy with a chemistry background.
Did you know I was a scientist myself? Dylan?
Here we go.
They call me the Doctor of Love. The Doctor of Love.
I'm a bit of
I
a
never heard
scientist
that.
myself.
It's a Scientologist.
Yeah. Oh, different word.
Doesn't ring a
But
bell.
this is a blend. Four Roses is interesting. They got 2 malt bills and 5 different yeast strains that they use in each.
Dylan, could you just turn the bottle so we can get
So
look at these as you pour it?
They have 2 grain recipes and 5 different malt bills and 5 different yeast strains, and each yeast strain creates different flavor profiles, giving them 10 different recipes that they barrel, and then they pick from those 10 different recipes. This one's got a blend of a bunch of different ones in it.
Well, how do you know? Like, because you see a lot of these. Four Roses is everywhere, and they got stuff that's like $40. They got stuff that's like $2,000.
They have stuff that's like 25 or
I know, that's what I'm saying. But like, how do
it's
you?
pretty good.
Really good.
It is, but how do you differentiate the different types of? Because I'll take some. It's like this is shit, and sometimes this is the best stuff I ever had.
Sometimes you find out Dylan mixed all this stuff up later.
Is this the small batch? What is that?
This is the limited edition small batch. So they release a few thousand barrels. It's got some of the older whiskeys, 15, 18, 12. Look, the way I look at it always is everything has DNA, right? It's something that, your firm has a certain DNA in it. Ours does to a certain. Morrow's
Morrow has DNA everywhere over Los Angeles.
Nonsense.
But
Don't ever take a blue light around Morrow.
Oh God.
That's a bed bugs joke, you guys.
Yeah. So
I know, the light and the blow dryer. I do it at every hotel now.
Right. So you just got to find something you like. Try a bunch of different whiskeys and brands, and when you find something you like, you stick to it because
It's a
usually
little
everything's
pungent
good.
for me.
Yeah, this one feels stronger.
The new Riff's definitely like the simplest, smoothest,
I agree so far.
least like crazy kick.
Michelle, what do you think so far?
I think the new Riff is my favorite.
What does
As
the baby
well.
like? The new.
Yeah, the new Riff. Sorry, Del.
The baby knows nothing. I forgive you, for you know not what you've done.
I'm afraid I'm going to draw. I mean, my plan is to just, my whole family, this is the first grandchild, and everyone's like, we can't wait, kind of. And I just can't wait for like the rotation of me just dropping my kid off at everyone's house one by one.
I think it might slow
and
my
seeing what
dad
happens.
down a bit.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
really
He
do.
will
The
be a
first
very
grandkid.
good grandfather.
Yeah.
He's
This is-
prepping.
This is one of
He
the
keeps
few
making
occasions
comments.
where I can say, I'll take your baby, and it's not totally inappropriate.
But Gary,
think it
he
still is.
enjoys my kids a lot. I know Taylor and Michelle enjoy my kids a lot. They're fun.
Your son was on my phone the other day and saw a photo of you. Why is my dad sleeping on the chair? We were like at a club in San Diego.
He was just surprised it wasn't the floor where he typically
I don't know
finds it.
how he caught that photo on my phone.
Was I sleeping in San Diego? Huh? You took a picture?
At the Red Rock.
Oh,
I
You're
did.
sleeping at the Red Rock?
On the couch while we were all drinking
it sounds possible. I don't remember.
at that law convention.
Probable.
Very probable.
I have photographic evidence.
Don't show Max those.
He picked it out of a bunch of photos. Like, is that my dad? Why is he sleeping? It was amazing.
His son is 5 years old. Four. Fuck.
Oh God, it's amazing. Your daughter was looking for
So
nude
Morrow,
photos
he's got
of
to
my
start an
boyfriend.
OnlyFans account. Just people watch him sleep.
And my daughter is in love with Taylor's boyfriend. She says Austin is her boyfriend.
I had to fight her.
Like, she says, "Get away! He's my boyfriend," and she goes and gives him a hug.
Your kids saved your life, Mom.
They did for sure. For sure.
Now the only time he drinks is on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
right.
find that hard to believe.
And on the
the
weekend,
official party
and on
line.
Tuesday.
My boyfriend went to play poker at Morrow's house once, and I was like, absolutely not. He
came.
Get back in the car right
Didn't
now.
he come? I think he came.
I think he came one day.
Yeah, he did come.
It's traumatic.
They still talk about that night.
Oh no, he brought some Russians. Oh no, wait,
There we
no,
go.
your husband brought some Russian gangster.
I was like,
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Who's this Russian? Who's this mafioso Russian?"
Igor.
Igor.
Oh, I met Igor
He brought Igor. I was like,
at the wedding. He's a
my
nice
friends were
guy.
like, "Who's this Igor guy?" They
He
were,
looks really scary.
Yeah,
That's
that's
why we
the
bring him
nicest
around.
yeah.
Shaved it. We were in the pool hanging out. He's a nice guy.
Igor came to my house.
Yeah, he's harmless, but
I don't leave
he
Mara
looks
alone
really
with
scary.
anyone that I love.
I always say, send your boyfriend over to me for a weekend.
We would break up. We wouldn't last.
But that's-
Legal advice only.
walk
from
us through
Mara.
these because you guys are in college. All of you in college at the time your dad is shelved being because I remember I was a baby lawyer when this was happening, and I'll never forget this ad that came out, and it was your dad coming back, and it was a picture of him running out of the hospital. It was a cartoon of him running out of the hospital carrying the IV bag with a gown on, and she said, "I'm back." And I remember looking at this in the fucking magazine. I was like, "This guy's fucking awesome," because I didn't know your dad before that, and I was like, "This guy's cool." So I didn't know the resurgence. Or did he keep it secret? Because I know that he was trying a shit ton of huge cases.
No, he didn't really keep it a secret, but people were opportunistic. I won't name names, but other trial lawyers in town were like, "Don't send any cases to Dordick, he's dying," and shit like that.
But he
And
still
shit
had
that
our
I was
firm
ready
running.
to fucking, fight over, but me and Gary are close, and I always tell people, Don't talk shit, man. The fucking guy's healthier than me.
Rumors of his death have been greatly
Yeah.
exaggerated.
Son of a bitch looks better every time I see him. I always say that he's like Benjamin Button, the son of a bitch. He looks fine.
He was still working during that time. He just scaled it back, but he never wanted to lay anyone off or, tell his clients he couldn't do what he promised to do. So he worked through a lot of that. He wasn't taking.
But you guys went through this Dordick downsize. I mean, you guys went to because I've been to the house in Sunset back in the day, and then for a fundraiser before that went down, and then beautiful home. It's probably where you guys grew up. And then go to a 2-bedroom condo during this time. What's that like? People always assume they see the verdicts. They say this has just always been struggle-free. Path has been easy.
It's I think I was 16. Taylor might have been 14 when we found out. But, we joke like my dad. He didn't grow up in Chicago. He moved here when he was maybe 8, something like that, 6. But he always acts like that kid in Chicago. He always acts like he's never going to get another case. He always acts like he's going to be broke tomorrow, whether he is or not, right? So not a whole lot changes because his mentality is we got to keep these business connects happy. We got to keep our clients happy because, it could all end that quick. And he's painfully aware. And so as different as it got, I think, realistically, it was the best thing that ever happened to us. And unquestionably, when my dad got sick, what tipped him off was he was losing a bunch of weight. And he was working out. And he was, we all thought it was working out, but he was losing a lot of weight.
Well, now I know I'm not sick.
It was like overnight. I remember I didn't see him for like a month, maybe. And he called me on a Saturday, and this is if you know Gary, he doesn't ask anybody to do anything for him. That's how he is. But with me, sometimes he's different. Gary called me on a Saturday. I hadn't seen him in like a month. He says, hey, can you give me a ride over to Thunder Road? I got to pick up one of my choppers. I was like, sure. So I go over to the house on Sunset, and he comes out, and I was like, who's this guy? Like, he lost 50 pounds in 2 weeks. I was like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you? And he says, well, doctors are taking blood tests or whatever, but they think maybe I have cancer. I was like, whoa. I was like, well, what kind of cancer you have? He says, I'm not sure yet, but something with my blood. He was downplaying it or whatever, but it was like that. He went from looking like normal to in 2 weeks he was skinny as a rail. So you knew there was something wrong with him. And then and I remember back in those days he had a blog. Remember he had the blog that he would update how he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
I was for that. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a blog where that way he didn't have to deal with people or talk to people, just his friends. He would say, if you want to know what the hell's going on, I have a blog, you can read about it, right? That way no one would bother him. And I'd still bother him, but that's how I am. But you could read his blog and he would update it all the time. Remember that?
Yeah.
So you guys were mid-teens, and then who was the youngest? Was Kyle or Waverly? Who's youngest?
Youngest was Kyle.
But at the time, I mean, kind of what Taylor said earlier, our parents were always really good about not being very alarming if there was no reason to be super alarmed, and just kind of really playing everything cool. So also around that, it happened in 2008. So we also had all the 2008 stuff happening economically.
Financial market,
Yeah, and when we downsized to a condo, we went to one of the most beautiful condos in LA, and Dylan and I went away to school. Taylor was a year from going to school, so they kind of played it yeah, we're having a lot of these changes, but we're really taking precaution because we don't want to be in a bad situation. And it really didn't feel scary or
They made sure the things
horrifying.
that mattered were taken care of. We still had tuition.
Yeah.
They wanted to make sure the things that are important in life, your education, a roof over your head, the things that were really important were there, and also letting us know as long as you have the bare necessities, you don't need a car, there's something you need in life.
And
other than
growing
your
up,
health.
it's not like they just gave us a credit card and we're spend whatever you want. Growing up, we always were they always kept us
I would drive home and I would see Waverly walking on the sidewalk. I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I didn't have money to get gas, so I had to leave my car and I'm walking home. I'm like, why don't you tell our parents you need money for gas? And she's like, my mom won't give me any more this month. So I'd pick her up and I'm like, I got yelled at the other day. I didn't realize I had like my $6.99 Spotify charge on the American Express with the business. Nav is like, if you don't cancel, I told you to cancel that months ago. If I see it again, you're not gonna have a work card anymore.
She means business.
And then when they canceled Dylan's, I was like, shit. I'm like calling.
Damn, I gotta introduce some of those. I go through my office. At my office, I don't know, half a dozen people have Amex cards, and I go through it sometimes. Like, oh, son of a bitch.
They monitor
every dime. Every dime.
People get in trouble for spending too much money on Westlaw. We're not allowed to expedite any transcripts without approval.
DocuSign. I got an earful about DocuSign the other day.
It's $1 every time you send the DocuSign out. We're like, correct. And we need the.
Well, I spent $1, but they signed a release for $4 million, so I think it was worth it.
No, my mom wanted to know why we don't send. I can't remember what it was, but to the client with a return envelope.
Oh, instead of the DocuSign. If you don't need it tomorrow, then you mail it.
Wow.
Yeah, they were like that.
Always.
Yeah.
Growing up, always. We didn't just have like free reign. And also growing up, like we were around when the firm started to take off. We were older when he started getting these huge verdicts. So our childhood was, we didn't like need for anything, but it wasn't the lifestyle that they're living today either.
The money you guys spend to try cases that I think I didn't necessarily learn about until actually becoming a lawyer. Every dollar that's made is essentially put back into the firm. There's
you never get it back.
No, it's not all just profit. You get a huge verdict and you think these lawyers are just Nava tells us all the time we weren't privy to all the finances, but when we were super late in life, Nava says they didn't only start making money on the firm till recently.
Mm-hmm. My dad says, you're lucky that case you tried was more expensive than your college education. You might not have been wrong.
It's true. Every single case costs like $200,000 to try.
It's crazy.
At least.
I think the turning point was that one case, the kid who was shot was shot 9 times.
Sean Palmier.
No. My dad remembers
the black guy that was out there against
Anthony
against the apartment complex on Riverside.
Mm-hmm. That one. That was when
Anthony Stewart.
The verdicts started to go crazy.
That was a good one. There was a security company that was running it, and the security guard hid in his car because he was afraid.
That was the same department you went and tried a case out because they were like, your dad tried a case in this.
That was a prison guard was trading sexual favors with minors for TVs and privileges and stuff. Guy shows up to his depot in a red velvet suit. They were like, "That's not what we meant by dress nice."
My God.
Michelle's talking about the one. This was a private security company. They hired a guard, and the guard hid in his car because he knew the people were gangbangers. And of course, they shot our client. My dad, in that case, subpoenaed the credit card American Express bill of the security company to pierce the corporate veil. And they were like, "We keep these companies separate. Everything's separate. Nothing's personal." And my dad said, "How many people at your office buy diapers at Costco?" They were like, "What?" He's like, "How about toothpaste?" And just went through their American Express bill and laid into every item in it. And the jury found liability and pierced the corporate veil.
Wow.
I think I remember going to that trial and the security guard was on the stand and your dad said, "Why did you run away? Why did you go hide in your car?" He goes, "Man, those are some dangerous fools." Those are some dangerous fools.
But you know what sticks with me from that
the
case,
guy just came up and started shooting.
This client lost both his legs above the knee amputation. He died in the ambulance. And he says he saw this calm feeling come over him as he died in the back of it, staring at the night sky and came back to life. And after the verdict, this was incredible for a security company when he got shot by a gangbanger. We went to dinner with him and his family, and he couldn't eat steak because his internal organs had been so damaged. And it was one of those moments where you really see, A, yes, you get to help people, but B, what a mix of emotions to see this guy who can't even eat.
That was at the Palm, where your dad had a party.
At the Palm, exactly.
By the way, I saw your fucking face at the Palm.
Yeah.
I've seen your mom and dad at the Palm, their faces on the wall, and I see his fucking mug.
You know how many?
Did you bribe?
Who did he bribe? And he looks real good.
About once or twice a month, I get a text from some random person. They're like, "You fucker, you're on the wall at the Palm?" I was like, "Yeah, I am." Long story short, the guy used to be the manager of the Palm, was a friend of Gary's. Peter Pan is the guy.
Oh, I met
he
this
goes
dude.
by
I
Peter
remember
Pan.
Peter Pan.
Master
His name is
Sommelier.
like Peter
Yeah.
Chaka whatever. He got some crazy Thai name that's like 14 letters. But he goes by Peter Pan. He was the manager, and he said, "Send me a picture, and I'll put your picture on the wall." I was like, "Isn't that for like celebrities or like people that are
You
like
Photoshop it
that have
first?
spent tons of money at the Palm or whatever?" He's like, "Yeah, don't worry." And then he put me in like the best spot, like right by the table, and it's amazing.
The vegan.
Yeah, and I don't eat
Vegan
meat.
has his face
I
on
would
the
have thought
wall
you
at
would have
the
been on the
Palm.
base of the urinal. That'd been a great place for
Yeah, or in the crapper.
You know what though? Like people look at what we have, right, as lucky or whatever it is, and so we've had all success amongst us in various different ways, but things like that. These things don't happen by accident. It's not really luck, right? Like you're a good person. You made friends. You made the effort. You went. I mean, you put yourself in these positions for good things to happen. You create like in hockey, right? You create enough good shots or enough good opportunities, and it ain't luck when it bounces in off three guys' stick. It's like you put enough pressure, and so things like that don't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I've helped Peter's wife with her business a few times. So I mean, like you're saying, I've helped her for free. I never charged her.
Dylan, let's do the last pour here. What else? Your last pour you got for us today?
Young Carter, go farther, go harder.
Young Carter, old Carter. That's like Jay-Z.
How are we related?
Little
Do you
Wayne.
ever think that?
All the time.
Old Carter is it's a husband and wife couple who owned
interesting.
a vineyard in Napa, and the vineyard in Napa was successful, but they wanted to move on to something else, and so they opened up a distillery called Kentucky Owl, which I'm sure you've had.
Yeah.
And Kentucky Owl, they had a bed and breakfast and a small distillery, and it
You
was
show this bottle to
it was
one of
really
the
successful. And of course, it got so successful, they sold it to the Stoli Group, like everybody else does. And then they opened up Old Carter and started making their own bourbons. This is a rye, barrel proof, 58%, but it's absolutely
58%.
gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
Barrel proof meaning that this is from one particular barrel.
One barrel straight from the tap.
Straight from the
And
tap,
so the
not
only
bottled.
the only bottles that come out of that barrel are these, and that's it. There's nothing else like it.
Which is really unfortunate because when you have one you really like and you're like,
Yeah,
wow,
you gotta go
shit,
find
there goes that.
Writing on the side.
That's one of my favorites. I bought a bottle of that, finished it in like 3 weeks, and I was like, A, I got to not do that again. But B,
Why did it take you so long?
yeah, good question.
Come over to my house on a Friday night. Me and my dad will teach you a lesson.
Well, the problem is if
that
you
one?
leave it on the table, in front of you, then before you know it, that's the only one.
Honestly,
Don't go to Bob's
I
house
think that
to
was the
drink
worst
bourbon,
one.
man.
It's the
You
same one as the
put
one
to
you had
shame.
before.
This is fantastic.
It's incredible.
Bob has this neighbor, this big, huge guy, Randy,
Oh yeah, Randy.
who's like a vacuum cleaner drinking bourbon. So between Randy and
If
then
Mara was saying that.
yeah, and then Bob's dad. I mean, these guys will put you you'll be out in the bushes and before.
I think Dylan can handle it.
for a night or two, I'm sure I could keep my own.
The second night's always easier than the first.
I like to call causing harmless trouble, right? As much trouble as you can get in without causing any permanent damage. And I have no doubt I would not be invited back to your neighborhood.
Now you'd be fine. It's a quiet neighborhood.
I think a little bit of the competitive
Yes, because all of
Completely
you have a competitive edge to you.
Yeah, I think a little bit of the competitive nature too keeps it. I mean, I want to do better than him. Sure, he wants to do.
But is this a sibling thing, or is it something that was ingrained in you? Because this is something I worry about for like raising kids with wealth. Because we didn't have it. I'm just wondering, can you give your kids the drive that I see in all of you? Where do you think that drive comes? Kyle, the
ask you
baby,
guys.
playing hockey, right? He's playing competitive hockey in college. Like, where's this competitive edge come from?
We were all playing sports and put into all activities from as soon as we could walk. I was dancing. Taylor and I both danced starting at 3 years old. Dylan and Kyle played every sport, every season. Waverly also, my sister did gymnastics. Like we all were involved in those like competitive extracurricular activities. And then also I think just the fear of not succeeding, I think.
Wow.
Being busy and getting good grades. Our parents always kept us busy in sports, and then our parents' rule of thumb. I don't know if you guys feel this way. Remember, you can do whatever you want, anything you want, as long as you get good grades. You want to smoke pot, you want to go to the movies at midnight. I don't care. If you come home with straight A's, do anything you want. So I think if you're getting good grades, you're going to a good school, you have a good group of friends, and you're busy 80% of the time doing sports and whatnot. there's so little
Yeah,
time
so
to
I
get
was
into
wondering,
nonsense.
because you guys are growing up in Beverly Hills with some extreme wealth neighbors. I mean, people on a different level, right? How do you not get into? There's got to be some bad circles, because I've heard some horror stories of people that grew up. Like, how did you stay out of these?
Private school kids.
Yeah, no.
Those are
I've-
mostly Kyle's friends.
I begged to be sent to private school. My dad's like, I have 5 of you. You think I'm paying for private high school?
We're lucky too. All the friends that we grew up with, we've known since kindergarten, and you've really kept that group of friends, a circle close. But I will say this, right? I mean, it's so interesting as you get older, right? You start looking back, and I think a lot of this comes from our mom too. She's done 10 Ironmans, I think, right? 8 Ironmans. Well, she's finished 8. There was 2 that were a little bit difficult in the beginning. But
Couldn't even finish them.
yeah, and after this most recent one, all of us went to, and it was impossible. The winds were blowing, and I've never cried. There's a couple moments I have that are really special in my life. Watching her finish that Ironman was incredible. I took her pedals off her bike and put them on my desk in a box, like for baseballs, actually, because. And you know what I think ultimately above all is the cause of all of this. And my dad and my mom have similar. I don't want to call it the addictive personality, because it's not so much addiction, but it's that chasing of feeling good and succeeding and doing well, and really hating the feeling of failure and hating that feeling.
But do you guys have?
Sorry to interrupt, but it's not just, I just don't think it's only a genetic thing. And if you look at all of our friends growing up, so we've all gone to school with all of our best friends today since kindergarten, 3rd grade, whatever, and they're all lawyers.
Wow.
And none of their parents are lawyers. So it's not that
What's your house?
We had an open door policy.
they came to our house, they hung out with our parents. Gary told all the same stories to them, and by osmosis influenced them also to go into law. And they're all very successful, smart, good lawyers. And
I was recruiting referrals.
The way he describes what he does for a living and his passion for it, I was like, I want that feeling. I want to stick it to the big insurance.
So do you guys, because your dad's one of the, he's kind of like, I don't have a lot of hobbies outside of like my profession doing this, and some people golf. Your dad's like, I don't fucking golf. Like, this is my fucking hobby. Do you guys have hobbies?
Oh, yeah.
well,
You drink. You do.
Yeah, well, I also got a nice
alcoholic.
shell casing burn on my forehead from the shooting range the other day. A piece of brass came and gave me a nice little mark there. But I have tons of hobbies. It just depends on the week. During the bar when I was studying for the exam, I was making crystal jewelry with copper wrapping. And people are like, what are you doing? I'm like, relaxing. I'm making jewelry. I mean,
Dylan doesn't sleep though.
but Gary has had every, of course now pregnancy brain is kicking in. Gary has had every hobby under the sun. He went through a photography phase. He went through a golf phase.
No, but he'll do it for like
He went through
a
his
week.
cowboy phase.
Phase. No, but
it
might be a week, but he doesn't
that's
do
the best.
anything half-assed. He goes full throttle, 100%, buys all the equipment, does all the classes. He's gone through a tennis phase, literally every hobby.
Well, I think he still
has a
likes
phase.
tennis. Him and
he
Cardi
wanted to ride horses. So we went out about the best horse. This horse trained by
the fucking horse away.
well, it was trained by Amish.
It almost
Amish
killed
kids.
him.
Yeah, I mean, the horse was so smart that it knew my dad didn't really know how to ride him, right?
God.
And so it went up.
he
It
went
went
to
up
like
the mountain.
He went to Colorado, bought the horse, and it was,
Yeah, at an auction,
God,
and
and then
somebody
had to
offered
be
him.
airlifted off the mountain the next week.
Well, yeah, it got stung by a bee. It had to
Carter.
turn them
What
off.
the fuck?
Rowley used to say, "There's no such thing as a cow Jew." Rowley used to call him the cow Jew, but Nick lived next door to him when Gary went through his horse phase. That he had to give the fucking horses away, because he couldn't even sell them, and then he gave them away.
Not just the horses, we also had alpacas.
Alpacas, yeah.
What?
They're terrible.
Yeah.
Alpacas are flight animals, so you got to let them run
Snakes,
around.
birds.
But they spend their entire day trying to escape, and you got to.
That's the pygmy goat.
No, that was the alpacas.
Pygmy goats?
So you're like running around chasing after this alpaca, trying to grab it. and you got to hit it. You got to jump on it by the neck, which is not. Feels wrong.
And they spit
right?
on you.
Yeah, you got to do it.
I heard they spit.
We had to feed them
Actually,
with
someone
bottles.
gifted the
Save the drama for your
alpacas
llamas a real thing. They
for his
spit.
birthday.
Yeah, client. My dad.
I
had helped
remember when the
client.
guy brought the alpacas to the house for his birthday.
A guy was in a wheelchair, and my dad helped this guy get a nice verdict, and he bought my dad alpacas for his birthday. They show up in a trailer, and he's like, "What?"
People love to gift us animals. Nick Rowley
My parents
also
like
gifted
living in
us.
chaos.
Remember that
Cat.
Sphinx cat that would attack me every time.
It attacked me so bad.
They hated me.
A friend of mine once
Gave
said
that
you
away
can
too.
tell a lot about a person by their relationship with chaos. You know, like how comfortable they are in it.
Never gift somebody an animal. That's really fucked up.
Nick Rowley
Nick
gifted
Rowley.
us a few.
What kind of animals?
He gifted us the
Gave Gary a
Sphinx.
Sphinx cat. You know those like hairless cats.
He tried to give us
Like
his
Mr.
last
Bigglesworth.
dog.
Oh yeah.
Mr.
He's
Bigglesworth.
given.
He tried to give us a dog.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Nava put her foot down on that one.
That was his one dog that when you guys lived in Topanga and Nick lived next door. Remember Nick had a dog that would like just live at like people's houses for several days during the week.
Yeah, the Rhodesian.
Yeah, it would like live at the neighbor's house for a couple days, then it would go to Gary's house, and it would go down the street. The dog was just like a free agent, and then it would eventually come back to Nick's eventually. But the dog kind of lived everywhere. I think his name was Nebo or something. Remember that? Debo?
That neighborhood in Topanga, we're all like having a party, a 50th birthday party for my dad. We're doing beer bongs with my grandfather. I got a picture of it. And my teacher in college somehow lived in Topanga and shows up and watches me doing beer bongs at night.
And your dad had set up like the most ricketiest, shittiest zip line in his backyard.
I remember the zip.
Oh my
And
god!
I was like, Gary, are you sure?
I went to one
remember-
party and there
You're
were
gonna
a
let
tattoo
people-
artist and a zip
Are you
line.
talking about when Dylan did it?
No, my dad went first. He said it's rickety, but I'll go first.
He got Dylan stuck in the middle over the vineyard because
Well-
he pushes Dylan off the ledge and then goes, "I forgot to attach the pulley."
It was just a carabiner.
Dylan's like, "What?" And then he's in the middle, like, "You've got to be kidding
Some
me."
trial lawyer over here.
Yeah.
fucking-
Yeah, he doesn't like to
blow
gamble with
yours
money,
up.
but he likes to gamble with a lot of other things.
Lives.
We're going to end
lives.
this episode. I would ask each of you, what is the future if your dad retired tomorrow, 3 years, 5 years? What's it look like for you?
We'd have to get along.
Dordick and
subject.
Fiore, I think, is
Shit.
what the firm would
Yeah,
be.
it'll be called Dordick and Fiore.
Dordick
first
and
of all.
Fiore. Uncle Mara would come in, you know, to...
Michelle and I have been trying to kick Dylan out for a while. I don't know.
So let's play the game of Succession.
I don't watch that show because
Oh,
I
man,
feel like
that'd
it's
be
going to
so
hit too close to home.
It does. It does.
It would. No,
Dylan threatens to leave every week. He's
You know,
done.
my dream in my head, the way it all plays out in the movie that I've written, right, is that I leave, start my own firm, and then force my parents to buy it back to join after they flounder without me.
He's
but that's just-
legitimately written that email to my dad
I've
before.
been drinking a lot.
Tomorrow, he wrote that in an email to my dad, all well written, thought out, like CCHR. Like, this is his actual game plan.
you
laugh.
fucking use ChatGPT, no doubt.
No, this was,
Wrote a
no,
screenplay.
I just used
Dylan has
anger.
dreams.
Which is
No, this is why he falls asleep in depositions, because he's up until 2:00 in the morning writing
these
insane emails.
I told somebody I think I have narcolepsy. They said, well, do you just fall asleep in boring depots? I said, yeah. They're like, then that is just boring. You don't have narcolepsy.
So I remember I had a case one time that Michelle was on it with me, and like she doesn't know me like that or whatever. And I remember the first
It was early.
few like snark. I'll admit I sent shitty emails to defense lawyers, and the first few shitty emails I sent, she sent me a text. She's like, "Man, I didn't know you were like that."
Well, then you
Emails.
followed up with, "You should see the emails I sent to my office."
Yeah, you should see the ones I send my associates. But yeah, she was shocked by how I dealt with.
I will say this though, Bob. I think ironically, one of the greatest inspirations for what I see as the future is what you've built, because
I was about to say that.
we have
Oh, you
become.
guys gonna make me cry if you give
Well-
me 3 more whiskeys.
There you-
Right.
the nuts.
We really need to learn more.
I'm a true believer in what we do, you know, and what my dream in this world is to create an army of trial lawyers who insurance companies are terrified of, right? And you've done that in such a beautiful way. And the dream, I think, ultimately is I want to create a firm whose sole purpose, I wanted to call it the nonprofit law firm, right? That we don't care if we make money or lose money. It's not that we're nonprofit, we just don't care. We are here to train an army of people that you better be afraid of, because there's good reason for it.
But
I think
what
that's
makes
I
me
see.
sad about that email you always threaten just for attention is that what I love about working with families, you always know none of us are going to go anywhere. None of us are leaving. You don't have the threat of anyone going anywhere, and you know that you can build an empire together with the idea that you're in it together. And to just how you just expand with the family, that you know everyone's going to stay and back you and be by your side and just grow together. I really hope that we can
Well, because here's the
build
beauty of
that.
it all, right? when my dad got sick, what the thing that really drove me, and I think us too, is he never dies if we keep trying cases, right? The way that he lives and the way that he acted and did things lives on forever through us in a slightly different version. And the more that we pass that on, the more likely it is that he lives forever, essentially.
Amazing.
So you don't like the stuff you guys don't see from
Legends
your dad of
never
how
die.
proud he is. He doesn't want to tell you guys probably too much.
Never.
Driving.
Never.
But we're on
Occasional
we're
birthday
on a
card.
few, like private text chains where every time you guys do something,
He couldn't be prouder.
Your good friends say mean things to your face and talk good behind your back.
makes me get
Dad.
emotional just thinking about it. But he sends like when you guys were on the paper together one time and you guys tried that case, he's very proud.
Well, your kids are going to be trying cases with us one day. We're going to have a kids of kids unite.
We all have to
As long as
become
they follow Bob. Bob's an inspiration to everybody, man. Bob, people ask me about Bob, and I always say, man, whatever Bob Simon says he's going to do, I don't care if he says I'm going to be a fucking astronaut, he's going to be an astronaut.
Bob has the
whatever
most
Bob says he's
loyal,
going to do, he's
amazing
going to
group.
do. So I always tell people, don't
I don't have no
discount
interest to go
anything
to
Bob
the moon.
says.
No, Mars. I'd go to Mars.
Don't discount anything Bob says, but if he says it, shit, it's
Jill and I
his.
both had the pleasure of working for Bob before we worked at my dad's firm. I tried a case with you. I think you guys are, my dad's so lucky to have
If
you.
I had $1 every time Dylan or Taylor said, well, at Bob's office, they do it this way. Okay.
Oh, when
I'd
he got in
retire.
trouble for not doing the
Expense.
settlement expense sheet, he said, well, because at Bob's, it's a much better system.
It's all automated.
And then-
It's just there.
And Nava then called me, well, what is Bob doing that we're not doing? What is
so mad.
What is your dad telling me that Bob does it better and we need to fix
It's not even
it?
true. I just say it now to goat him.
I say it all the time.
Dylan, can you bring out these bottles? Because we're going to end the show on, we're going to pick all of your bourbon of proof out here. We had a lot of drinking on this episode because
Yeah.
it was the,
And everything was barrel
Legacy,
proof
yep.
in Bob's honor, and half of them were rye in Bob's honor because
you know what, you're the man.
Some- Bob
something
likes
about
rye.
Kentucky breeds a desire for rye. I mean, Pennsylvania breeds a desire
Well, I
for
think
rye.
it's where, I just think it's where you kind of grew up, what you drank is, if you're in the Caribbean, you like rum. It's just what you grew up off of.
If you're in Pittsburgh, you have a toilet in the basement.
That's right. I just drink bathwater.
I grew up in LA, so I used to just drink Old Granddad.
Old Granddad.
Old Granddad.
We had one called Old Hat in Pittsburgh. Terrible. Okay, so we have. We'll start with Michelle because you have an obvious answer.
My favorite.
What was your bourbon of proof after all of these being 5 months pregnant? How are you 5?
7.
7. Jeez, you show well. Oh wow.
You're ready to go.
Ready to go.
You're like my wife. You won't pop till 9 months, and it'll be like, oh my God, you're really pregnant.
Well, I pray that I'm like your wife in any way. Okay.
Just talk. She'll teach you the ways of, or the husband.
What do you want me to tell you? My favorite
What was your
one?
favorite one?
You know, I can't pick. They were all so good.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you, Michelle. Taylor, what was your bourbon of proof over? here?
New Riff by Landslide. Smoothest.
And that was that was 100 proof, by the way. That was Bottle and Bond.
Wow.
Dylan?
How are you going to ask me to pick my favorite child? I mean, these are my babies. Each one.
You
has-
guys are one of 5.
I knew
and
you were
have
gonna
to
say
pick one of
something ignorant
fucking
like that.
5.
I knew it.
Ignorant. Well, the old Grand Royal, that little bottle, that represents Taylor, so probably not that one. I would say Four Roses, small batch, limited edition, the new school over the old school, sitting right next to it, huh?
Well, you just picked Kyle. That was Kyle.
Round.
I was gonna say.
Leave Kyle alone. Me and him share the same birthday. We have a bond, you know.
The heart of an angel. That
Well, he's the best one of the 5 of us.
yes.
Well, Marl, which do you pick? Which one of my
Well, we
children
don't
do
ask
you
the
love?
co-host. You can't.
We never asked the host, but if you had to twist my arm, I kind of like the Grand Royal.
That was also a psychedelic, so we will be seeing you guys on planet Mars next episode of Bourbon Proof. Seriously, Dordick Legacy, thank you guys for coming on. We look forward to the next 3, 5, 10, 15, 25, 50 years being together. Thank you for this episode of Bourbon Proof. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pseudo uncles.
Man, if you're looking forward to 20
Real
years,
uncles.
you don't believe in global warming.